was another weekend of huge, embarrassing failure for our fearless leader, Johnny B. Biden. You know, this has got to be the most embarrassing first family in the history of this country. Just think about it. Our lovely First Lady, she's flying around the country pretending to be a doctor. If there's a cancer scare, Jill will be there pretending to give medical care. If you need Botox, Jill is your doc. She'll have your face looking like roadblocks. Hunter Biden, better known to his family as Johnny Jr. and known on the streets as Johnny Baboon, while Mommy Dearest is flying around pretending to film an episode of ER, Johnny Jr., he is filling the air with toxic emissions, making sure he arrives to court on time. And then we have the patriarch of the Biden family of embarrassment, our fearless leader, Johnny B. Biden. Can we go one day without John Biden embarrassing himself? Can we just get through 24 hours without humiliation? Is that too much to ask? Over the weekend, John Biden held a fundraiser in the only city and state that is willing to give him money. The event, it was held in the People's Republic of California. The city was strategically chosen. I mean, you can't have a Biden fundraiser in smaller California cities where normal people live. Those responsible for Johnny's well-being know normal people ain't giving him money. So they decided to hold the event in the city formerly known as the City of Angels. Los Angeles is no longer called the City of Angels since Gavin Newsom has been dictator of the People's Republic. The Angels, they were included in the epidemic of reverse immigration. The Angels were a part of the group of thousands of people rushing the southern border to get the hell out of California and start their new lives in Mexico. This fundraiser, it was a star-studded affair. All the woke celebrities were there. Jorge Clooney, Julia Roberto, other celebrities that no one gives a shit about. But in order to maximize donations, organizers, they knew they needed the perfect host. They needed a host that could match John Biden's comedic timing. They needed a host that could share a stage with Johnny B and be able to match his lacking charisma. Basically, they needed an unfunny host who has the charisma of a steaming turd. To their credit, they found just the host to moderate an event like this, Jim Kimmel. Jim Kimmel. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Naturally, the organizers of this fundraiser, they knew that an event featuring Jim Kimmel and John Biden was not going to sell tickets. Come see an aging fossil and a blithering idiot. Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes. Even with woke celebrities like George Clooney and Julia Roberts being the target demo here, organizers, they knew they could not sell this event with just Jim and John, so they decided to call in reinforcements. They decided to hire a real star. In order to raise $28 million, event organizers, they knew they would need the charisma and the star power of Barack Obama. Good old Barry. Think about how embarrassing this would be if John Biden was actually cognizant. Think about how embarrassing this would be if John Biden knew what the hell was going on. This dude is the sitting president. Under normal circumstances, he would be considered the most powerful man in the world. In order to raise money, he's got to call in a favor from Obama? John Biden's not even the star at his own fucking show. The evening started off with a little bit of comedy. Some laughs for those lonely men who haven't touched a breathing woman since birth. A little joy for lonely men sitting alone at home on a Saturday night, watching one dude with charisma attempt to carry two embarrassing failures through a painfully boring show. As you're about to see, there's a woman at the bottom of the screen rapidly moving her hands. Most people assume that she was doing sign language so those without the ability to hear would be able to comprehend. My inside sources are telling me this lovely woman, She is the top hand puppeteer in Hollywood. She was hired for the sole purpose of entertaining John Biden. That's the only way they could ensure that he would stay awake. Jim Kimmel and his staff of overpaid writers, they came up with some brilliant comedy to start the event. Watch for yourself.
President Obama, what goes through your mind when that President Kanye West says that he's done more for black people than any president since Abraham Lincoln?
Oh, Jim! Kanye Trump! First of all, does Jim Kimmel talk about anyone else besides Donald Trump or they bad? If scientists studied the brain of Jim Kimmel, they would find an endless supply of oranges. I thought Skip Bayless had the most vapid obsession in the category of dudes obsessed with other dudes. For 2 decades, Skip Bayless, he's had this unhealthy obsession with LeBron James. But unfortunately for Skippy, Jimmy has him beat. No one is more obsessed with the Trumper than Jim Kimmel. But a few minutes later, Jim, he mentioned another one of his favorite topics, conspiracy theories. Oh, fearless leader, why do normal people believe these conspiracy theories? Outlandish theories like rampant inflation, an out-of-control southern border. Here in California, our borders are secure. No one is coming over. Matter of fact, we are having to build a wall to trap people in this miserable dump. Jim Kimmel wanted to know how these so-called conspiracy theories were being spread unchecked. Fortunately for Jim, John had the answer. According to John Biden, the reason voters are so well informed on his disastrous administration is because of social media. Jim, back in my day, we had these things called editors. When you chiseled your article on the scroll, it had to go through an editor before it was distributed by donkey. Today, Jim, it's the wild, wild South out there. All these people spewing these facts with no one to polish the lies I want promoted. According to John Biden, the internet is full of lies and it's hard for people to understand what is factual. Let me translate that for you. What Johnny is basically saying is, we are too stupid to know what's true and what's false. What we really need is government intervention. That way, the only information that gets distributed is the information they want you to know. Sounds great, doesn't it? I wonder where they got that idea. What country controls the media and limits the flow of information to the general population? Sounds eerily similar to the People's Republic of China. But with the comedy out of the way and the dozens of people watching in a lighthearted mood, it was time for Jim Kimmel to get serious. It was time for Jim to deliver the main message of the evening. Like the rest of the woke media, Jim Kimmel wants you to know, I'm scared, I'm fearful. If Trump is elected, he's coming after me. Ralph Maddow said he will put me in a camp. Oh, save me, Johnny, save me. I highly doubt Donald Trump spends a single second thinking about Jim Kimmel. I mean, if this bullshit were true, and Trump was planning to round up the woke media and put them in camps, which he's not, but let's just assume for 1 second that that's the actual plan. Don't you think the Trumper would be rounding up people with actual influence? Don't you think he would be worried about people with actual power? Jim Kimmel is an irrelevant doofus. His influence doesn't extend past Burbank. Travel 20 miles outside of Los Angeles and no one cares about Jim Kimmel. John Biden, though, he attempted to ease Jim's concerns. He gave a painfully boring scripted answer to the question. Now, of course, With John Biden reading the script, he naturally lost his place, his train of thought, and the attention of the audience. This is one of the reasons they had Obama on stage. Obama, he noticed Johnny struggling. He heard a few snores in the audience, and he stepped in to actually be entertaining. Now, whether you like Barack Obama or not, one thing you can't take away from him, he knows how to control an audience. He's an excellent politician, great speaker. When Obama talks, people actually listen. Now, I don't agree with him politically, but Obama, he's a likable dude. He's the complete opposite of John Biden. But there were a couple of times where John Biden tried to step in and speak, and Obama wasn't having it. Watch for yourself.
If people have the right information, if those who are listening, those who are in the audience, are out there talking to their friends and their neighbors, and, their Uncle Jimmy, who's a little crazy, but, he's come over and he starts spouting facts, and you respectfully provide the actual truth.
Why does he have to be Uncle Jimmy?
I just decided.
By the way,
if young people re-engage, and I'll be able to do what ex-presidents are supposed to do, which is not hang out with Jimmy Kimmel. So,
by the way, one thing,
let's get to work.
This isn't all that surprising because Barack Obama, I don't think he has any respect for John Biden. He didn't respect him as a vice president. The only reason I think he selected Johnny as vice president, Obama knew John Biden wasn't a real threat. He damn sure doesn't respect him as president. John Biden tries to speak at his own event, and Obama cuts him off. Not once, but twice. At this event, woke celebrities, they donated $28 million to John Biden. Not bad, right? Not bad until you consider the context. These donations, they are coming from Hollywood. They are coming from movie producers, actors, actresses, maybe even pop singers like Taylor Swift and her future husband, Kelsey. The donations over the weekend, they were coming from 0.000000001% of the overall population. After he was convicted, Donald Trump raised double that amount in 24 hours, and the vast majority of Trump's donations came from normal people, the average American. Biden is supported by the elites. He is supported by Hollywood and the mainstream media. That used to be important. They used to have influence, but with this election, I think it's going to backfire. Hollywood no longer has influence. The media damn sure has minimal influence. And lately, it seems like whatever the mainstream media supports, normal people are automatically against it. But give me your thoughts on this. Another embarrassing weekend for John Biden. As I was wrapping up this video, I got a notification on my phone that said Barack Obama had to lead Johnny off stage this weekend. Now, I didn't have time to confirm it, but wouldn't surprise me if it was true. Hell, the Italian prime minister, she had to make sure that Johnny didn't get lost in the meadow last week. But what do you think of Obama cutting John Biden off? Does Obama respect John Biden? I think it's a bad sign that Obama had to be included at this event in the first place. Shows me Johnny isn't capable of doing it alone. What about you? Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.